private bathroom.
I did my hair in the bathroom too, and then the woman that cleans the bathroom, she was like, "Hola." I said, "Hola, Maria." She was like, "Okay." I was like,
"What's that mean?" The silent judge, huh? The silent judge.
Yeah, she was like, "Rough night." I was like, "Hey, you gotta make it."
Clean the bathrooms, you see it all, right?
That's exactly it.
She probably
and then it starts conversations. It starts conversations too, because then people are like, "Oh, you use that? Oh my gosh!" And I use this when you start, trading hair stuff.
Ready?
Ja.
Back to Date with the Divas. Thank you for clicking on our video once again, and I know you'll enjoy it, so do me a favor. Click on that subscribe button if you haven't already. Remember to like our videos and hit on that notification bell because you don't want to miss out on our videos. Now come on, entourage, grab that beverage of choice.
Oh, that's pretty.
All right, I was going to say, wait a minute. Now you got two-tone colors on your drink. What is that?
Okay.
I figure, got to match the outfit, I got every other color on.
Extra.
Miss Alicia, can you hook us up with the tea?
Yes. All right, y'all. For those who don't know, our former First Lady, Michelle Obama, has a podcast. She has a podcast, and they also film it and show it on YouTube for anyone who wants to catch up on it. So she has a podcast called IMO, which stands for In My Opinion, and she co-hosts it with her brother Craig Robinson. I guess we didn't get Craig, huh?
Oh, well, you had him after.
Okay.
So would you want?
Just show it, and then it'll be fixed.
Okay. Do you want to see Craig? Do we want to see Craig?
Sure. Yeah. And then leave it there for 2 seconds, and it can be fixed.
Okay. Let me stop share.
We could have just kept on.
Kept it moving.
Because I could just cut it and move it around.
And moved it around.
I can't keep up with the directions.
Technical difficult. No. Just because Alicia, she directing now. You just the host, girl. You're not the director, okay?
I just hosted. I thought I was gonna
host it. Just host it.
And let the producer produce.
Okay, true. Okay. All right, we can start over. You ready?
Okay, this is her with her brother.
And action.
So that's right. So Michelle Obama, she has a podcast called In My Opinion, IMO, and she co-hosts it with her brother, Craig Robinson, there in the middle. And this past week, they had a special guest star, Tracee Ellis Ross. For those who don't know, she's an actress, former model. She is the daughter of the infamous Diana Ross. And she is, known for being funny, goofy, very talented, but also a single woman in her prime, looking great for whatever age she is. I think she's like 50 something, I believe.
52, she said.
Yes, she's 52, looks great, looks about younger than some 30-year-olds I see around here in these streets, But anyway, so on Michelle's podcast, they were talking about dating and relationships. And at one point, Tracee shared that she's always felt comfortable making her own decisions. They were talking about, because they're in the older generation versus the younger generation, and dating and navigating that. And Tracee said that she often dates younger men. And so they asked her to clarify. So she said, quote unquote, "It's not just that I'm older, I'm also very embodied. I am a full, very whole person who knows myself, who is in charge of my life, and who lives a very full, robust life." Besides the obvious explanation that younger men are hot and gorgeous, she added that a lot of men her age are steeped in toxic masculinity and have been raised in a culture where there is a particular way that a relationship looks. And anything that starts to smell of that, for me, I did enough of it, where I was controlled and felt like I was a possession or prize. I have no interest in it, and I will not do it again. Ross clarified that not all middle-aged men are this way, but she has repeatedly run into problems dating in her own age range. She said there is an openness that occurs with a younger man, whether it's gender fluidity or not even having an issue with homosexuality. I mean, something basic as that. I have long been past the age where I felt like it's my job to teach somebody or grow them up, end quote.
I like that, right?
Yes. Right now, she admitted that Ross admitted that she is single right now. So I want to get you guys' take on that, because it's kind of been hitting the streets levels, kind of hot take of like, she thinks the younger men technically are a little bit more mature than older men. Divas, what do you think about her statement so far?
I mean, I can see her point is that, especially when she talks about the toxic masculinity. I think that it and she even mentioned that this is not generally true of all men, but like when you think of most older men, like they're taught a certain way. It's like they're king of the castle, head of the household, which isn't a bad thing per se, but I think she wants a little bit more freedom. She's, and she wants, when she talks about gender fluidity and things like that, I think she wants a man who is understanding. And she doesn't want to have to, when she said she doesn't want to grow them up, which is ironic because she's talking about preferring younger men. She doesn't want to have to undo that learning of, oh, I don't like this, or I don't mess with this, or I don't want to see that type of, so I can see what she's saying.
I agree. I feel that sometimes, when she talks about like cultural norms, it's just about how sometimes some older men are stuck, just like, they say like, oh, like old school, they so stuck in the old school, they don't realize that they're stuck in the old school. And to say that you're not trying to grow them up in terms of like, even though you're dealing with a younger person, the mind is just open-minded to everything, just to have conversations, to say like, oh, just to see, how sometimes, and I'm just throwing it like what you said about homosexuality, it means like, sometimes for me, that just means like being able to have a conversation, see things, and not come out with the stupid comments and making dumb comments, making dumb jokes, just living and just being in the moment sometimes, whereas sometimes an older person will be so stuck in, the silo, that the norm that it becomes, societal norm, that it becomes so like dry and, just unappealing.
And we could say, this is not only of the male sex, but we're saying this because this is what she has been talking about, because it can go both ways.
Exactly. But, and I don't want anybody, I feel like, we're having this conversation, but like, it's like sometimes we as women have to justify ourselves when the men do it. And there is no justification that they have to have. They just do it because that's the societal norm. So you're automatically doing something opposite. So it becomes an issue.
Well, she even mentioned that too. She mentioned about women having to, I guess, be the one to kind of be flexible, if for lack of a better word, more so than men, and that's like an additional societal norm, if you want to call it that. I kind of I like her sentiments. As you're getting older, you get into your what you want, what you don't want, and it's all good. It's all good. Men do the same thing, you choose what you want, what you don't want, so let her have her choice, right?
Exactly.
We can't
She ain't
knock
hurt nobody.
Yeah, we can't knock it.
That's true. I do agree that men don't really have to explain themselves when they're dating someone 20 years younger. That's a good point. But-
Yeah, it's not a topic of conversation.
Exactly.
right, right.
It's only a topic until they get in trouble. Oops.
Right.
That's exactly it.
That part.
But guess what? With the older women and the younger men, there's less likely for oops.
Well,
No.
yeah. That's
Maybe. Depending. Yeah, but I get what you're saying. Yeah.
I
don't know. And I don't know for younger, what is it? Older women, younger men. I'm sorry. I'm gonna say it. To me, I see it sexy. It's real sexy.
I think so too.
Typically
And
Like
dating.
she said, they hot and gorgeous.
Marcus.
Wait, you know how to do the R's now, Lava. Come on now.
Ain't nobody on here Earth the Kids age, so.
Oh no, I'm just saying.
I mean,
Yes.
to
Wait,
say
wait.
the
Think
speaking
about-
of the R's,
about-
you know, they
wait,
speak a
wait,
little
wait.
Spanish and stuff. Okay,
Think about Cher and her younger man.
Mhm.
Oh,
Well,
You know,
that's
there's
a
what-
real age difference in her
Right.
younger man. I mean, like
absolutely.
Yeah.
50 years, maybe
Yeah.
55.
right.
I mean, I'm still trying to figure out what he's seeing in her. No offense. I don't have a problem with that, but that seems really,
But
really
who we talking about now? I lost.
Cher.
Cher and her young
Oh.
man. Because he's like in his 20s, I think.
Well,
Inners.
didn't well, no, I don't think he was that
70s.
young. I was gonna say Maxwell Caulfield when he had his.
Oh, right.
I think
forgot
he
about
was.
that.
He was.
He
He was.
was
He was in
around
his 20s and she was in her 40s.
40s.
Right.
Mhm.
That's
so-
20 years.
And they
I mean,
lasted a long time. I mean, didn't she pass away or something? Or maybe
I
I'm
don't
thinking of Pierce Brosnan.
recall.
One,
Now you're gonna make me. Pierce
I know
Brosnan.
you don't
Yeah,
have to look it up, but
yeah. I'm gonna have to look that one up.
They were all together for a long time. So
Yeah. So I mean, I could agree with what she
Cher
said.
still looks amazing though.
she does. She does.
Mhm.
She wore
And you think
her
what-
bodysuit thingy, and she looked amazing. You know, from that Turn Back Time video or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, go girl.
Like even I hate talking about them, but Chris Kardashian and the dude that she's with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the age of her third
Third.
youngest child.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
And
So,
they seem very happy together.
Yeah.
exactly. And I think sometimes he kind of grounds her thinking sometimes too, makes her see outside the box. So I think that this is
And
I think he
That's the thing too, is like when we mentioned this earlier, you know, we tend to women, sorry, an explanation has to go behind it. Yeah, but this and la 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 la, where it's accepted for men.
Or a man just gonna be like, I'm gonna go meet my younger woman.
Yeah,
Be on the
exactly.
beach.
And maybe that younger woman grounds you, man. Well, he's grounding me, you know, like you know? So it can go both ways, you know. It can go both ways. Just let's try and make it equal. Why do we have to justify and you're just allowed?
exactly. And I think anybody, it doesn't matter what age, could lead just as long as they're leading maturely
For sure.
and leading,
Julia
I
Mills is still alive.
Oh,
she is.
she's still alive.
Mhm. And she's still married to Maxwell Caulfield.
Oh, see.
Okay. But I want to say, I know there was like a 20-25 year difference between them.
Tina Turner too. Her husband was a lot younger than her.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
Okay. See?
I know there's somebody else too.
See? So
Look, I'm all for it. I like me some young ones.
Okay.
Long as they, you know.
As long as they can,
Right.
pay
Legal.
bills.
Right.
Yeah,
Dana, you asking for too much
Bills,
on Trees now. You can't.
not
either
one.
emotionally mature on Trees, or they're financially mature. You can't have both.
No,
sometimes.
they're gonna be
No,
both.
you can both.
You should have both.
They're gonna be
I mean,
both.
you can have both. I mean, now dating somebody's in their 20s could be, I don't know where the maturity level is yet, but it could be, where they are financially. But if they're, as they start getting into late 20s, early 30s, they're starting to be established and more mature, I would say.
So the women are sugar mamas?
No.
No,
they're
sugar
sugar
mama
mamas, they
implies
want
that
somebody
you're
more
taking care
financially
of a
Right, you
man.
trying to be a sugar mama?
No, I'm
I'm
trying to take care of a
asking.
man.
I'm just asking.
I mean, it
You
could
know, I
be
wanna
in
know
some
if it-
case, but these
what
divas
happens
are
on
not
one
trying to
side.
be.
Yeah, well, we know that. That's why they
There
are
are
divas.
sugar mamas out there. Ain't you seen the memes where they be calling?
Oh, we
be
know
like,
they're
"Hey,
out there,
honey."
but ain't nobody over here trying to be.
Right.
And we're also saying we don't think Tracee Ellis Ross would be one either.
I don't
Like,
think she's
she
trying to be a
wants somebody
sugar
on her
mama.
Not a sugar
level
mama.
financially too, you know.
Mm-mm.
I don't know if you guys had a chance to watch the rest of the video or not, but there were a couple of little hot moments that she kind of said. So I want to ask you guys' take on this point that she made later on in the video about chemistry. She said,
You study chemistry. I had to break up the monotony. My bad, my bad.
we have our own Porsche over here, huh? See, our own Porsche.
Okay, chemistry, my bad.
Yeah, the relationship chemistry, not science. But she was saying chemistry is not a relationship. Love does not always include chemistry. Do you guys think that's true?
No.
Interesting. I'd have to know what she defines as chemistry.
What the hell is she talking about?
Right.
Repeat it again. Love does not
always include chemistry.
That's called friendship.
Did she offer any extra
the
to
way
that?
she was kind of saying it was like, don't get it twisted, kind of like when she was saying,
oh, just because you have chemistry with someone doesn't mean you should be in a relationship with them. Is that what she meant?
Right. Yeah.
or that that it's a loving relationship. Yeah.
or is she saying that just because she's in a relationship with them doesn't mean like it has to be about love, that it can just be a symbiotic relationship that I'm liking?
Just don't, like I said, she was saying don't get those two twisted. You could have the chemistry.
Some guys are just there to hook up with, and
okay, that's all.
Don't try to turn it into a romance. Is that what she was saying?
That's what I was getting the impression. You tell me if I'm wrong. Like, it doesn't, just because I'm with somebody doesn't mean I love them. I could just like having fun with them and just be with them. Why I gotta be about that? That's what you're saying? Just like a man does. A man could be dating.
But when she says the love does not always include chemistry, that means she loves that person, even if she knows that, even if it's just from what you're saying, Joe, like from that statement of love does not always include chemistry. I agree that's more of like on the friendship tip, but
yeah,
I think she's kind of said that, there are some relationships that are just loving, but no chemistry there. She's like, there's some couples that are just, full of love and not chemistry, and that works for them. I feel like
what was her point? Why was she saying it?
So they had this viewer, or not really a viewer, but they had someone who wrote in a question.
Posing a question.
Yes. And so the viewer asked about, it was a man. He was saying how his friends tell him that he needs to take a break to work on himself and just be intentionally single.
Okay.
But he wants to be in a relationship basically. And, so they're trying to give him different advice. And then, sometimes just like we go off tangents, they went off tangents a little bit here and there too. So, I don't know what the full topic was. Okay. After he's got but yeah,
well, that was a long way to say I don't know.
They were trying to provide advice of different, different things. And like you said, they did go off on different tangents. But she was saying in relationships, you can have various relationships, but within those relationships, don't mix. Sometimes you can have love. Sometimes you can have chemistry. Sometimes,
the two don't cross. Okay.
Well, not the same.
Right. And she was saying how for herself, she wants both. She wants love and chemistry.
I think most people do.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why, she's still single right now because she has not found someone really to meet what she's looking for at the moment, so
that poor man that wrote the question is still confused himself too, because it don't sound like
they got back on track, and they gave him like 3 different points towards the end, about,
yes.
They did get back on track, but I mean, she had very, various points, that were good, which is why, our host asked for you to watch the video.
But was her point that you can be in a romantic relationship with
someone
you're not
one question.
to?
Sorry, Tracee.
Was her point that you can be in a romantic relationship with someone you're not attracted to? Was
no.
No, I don't think that was.
Okay, I was trying to find the point in what she was saying.
Right.
The point is that there are different types of relationships. She did make some examples saying, hey, I have this one guy friend who I just text every day about fashion or something else like that, and I have this other friend who fulfills this other need for me in my life,
It's like a movie.
She was like, once I get into an actual relationship, of course,
friendship. Okay,
yes,
got it.
Yeah. All right.
Right.
That
we have to explain the
There was no
daggone
chemistry
video. I
in
mean, come
in
on.
that question.
Be
Oh, right,
it with
right.
a
No chemistry in that question, basically.
Beat it.
Oh my gosh. I don't even know if I should bring up any more of
Go,
the other
go,
stuff that I'd
Go
like to
Go
have.
ahead, go ahead, go
go
ahead.
ahead.
We're talking
Do
in
you? Do
generalities, right?
you?
This is what, like Michelle Obama said, in my opinion, right?
Right. So one thing that I thought was kind of cute, I feel like I've heard Michelle say this in her book before or whatever, but so her brother Craig was saying how his dad gave him the advice that you can tell a lot by a man's character by how he plays basketball.
Okay.
Yeah.
By, you know, how he's on the
Said,
court,
okay.
if he's aggressive, if he talks trash or not, if he gives any effort. So I want to ask you ladies, do you guys have any sort of antidotes like that that like, I can tell what man is just by what? I don't know, how he dresses or how he eats ice cream. I don't know. What you guys got for our viewers?
I've always heard, I've always heard you can tell a person's character, I guess, by the way I'm
I
sorry.
mean, what?
I'm gonna see if we're gonna say the same thing.
I don't think we are. About their family.
I was gonna say about their mother, how they treat their mother.
Yeah.
His whole character?
You can tell you can tell a lot about his character in the way he treats his mom.
I think a
This
lot of
is what I've
assholes are
heard.
close
I
to their
mean,
mom.
again, we're just giving an opinion. This is
Exactly.
not exact science, Ms. Artreats, that's gonna come
No,
out.
I thought you could tell how a man's going to treat a woman by how he treats his mother, not his whole character. That's what I had heard before. That's why I was asking.
Right. Me too.
Yeah, so okay.
I don't have anything specific, but it's just I do watch them in situations where they're relaxed. Like if we're around their family or if we're around their friends and they're not conscious of putting on that character of whoever they're showing me when it's just me and them. What are the things that they're saying that I remember one time I had repeated something that I was dating a guy and I repeated something that he said. And he was like, "Oh, how'd you know that?" And I'm like, "You said it to me." But it was just like, okay, you obviously weren't really conscious that you were saying this to me. It wasn't a bad thing. It wasn't anything bad at all, but it was just like, oh, okay, I got to listen to them in these moments where they're letting their guard down.
Yeah.
And so I think that might be part of the whole thing of like, how they play basketball or how they treat their mom is like, they don't have their guard up for you. They're doing whatever they do. So it's like seeing them in their natural habitat, because some of them don't play basketball. So, know. I was on a date one time with a guy, and I think he went to his friend's house to play like Wizards and Warlocks, one of them fantasy card games.
Right.
It was very interesting. I was like, oh, this is what you do. And I'm going to sit here and watch you and your friends talk shit and play Wizards and Warlocks. It was a very
Did they try to
group.
include you at least or no?
Yeah, they tried to explain to me like the game and stuff. And I was just like,
no, but were they going to let you play it? They just telling you how to do
I think they did ask me if I wanted to play. And I was just like, nah, I'm just going to sit here and listen. I don't have the attention span for this.
Well, that's also a good view too of how, like you said, how they are with their friends, how they are in that, like how are their connections with their
in terms of activities that they do with their friends and stuff.
It's how they speak about the people.
Yes.
How do they speak about their friends, family, their exes? That can tell you a lot about a man's character.
That's true.
Or how do they handle a situation when they're mad at somebody?
How they engage in conflict.
She mentioned that. She said how they argue.
Yeah. There was another guy I was dating, and I walked up to I was coming over to his apartment, and I walked up and he was on the phone with his ex-wife. Like they were arguing about something because he worked in IT and he was trying to help her with her computer because they had kids. So he was like, I told you to leave it the fuck alone and blah, blah. And I was like, oh, you can't be this mad over what she's doing with her computer. Like you did over there to fix it and you told her to leave it alone. Why are you yelling and cussing at her? Like, this is I don't want to be her in 5 years.
Right. Yeah. Pretty alarming. You gotta pay attention, y'all. You gotta keep your eyes and ears open. Okay. Because people like to show their representative.
Go ahead, Marilyn.
What'd you say, Marilyn?
I was gonna say one thing I consider, like, do they even have like long-term friends, like a
Yeah.
relationship? Because I've met some guys who have no friends. I'm like, what do you mean you have no friends? Like, you don't have somebody, not necessarily childhood, but like somebody, you got to at least have one person that's got at least a 10, 15, depending on the age, 20 years.
Yeah.
If you don't have that, then I mean, wonder what kind of relationships you're able to maintain.
Mhm.
Is
The
what I
red
start
flag.
from that perspective.
Yeah. I've never met
Yeah.
guys like that, but I've met other girlfriends like that. There is like all they do is talk about why they fell out with this girl and that girl, and she used to do this. And then I'm like,
You the
why you ain't got
problem.
no other friends?
Right.
Yeah. And now you
Who's
don't
the
talk about
common
me.
denominator?
Yeah,
Denominator.
exactly.
Right. Most
Only
guys don't
thing-
talk about falling out, but I'm just like, I met a guy who says, well, I don't have it, I was like, oh, so who do your friends? And he goes, well, I really just hang out with my kids and my family, and that's it. And I'm like,
Red
okay,
flag.
I like no friend, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, to
You
me,
don't
it's
have
like,
a homeboy that you call once
yeah,
a
just
year on
one
your
homeboy.
birthday.
Yeah.
Well, there
Yeah.
are more introverts than extroverts sometimes, where some people don't like to leave their house too often. So
And I get
Yeah,
that,
but
but
then
I
that means he's gonna want you to never leave the house.
That's
He's
true.
gonna have that
Yeah.
I'm
expectation of
introvert
you.
and I have friends I got 30+ year friends. I'm
Hey,
sorry.
look.
That's not just family.
What is that show? That TV show where the guys he stays in his house, but he still has his coworker friends. So I mean,
You talking about Found?
found. There you go. Right. He don't leave the house, but he still got friends.
right.
Yeah.
If he doesn't have friends, that means he won't be able to develop a friendship with you.
that's a good point too.
That's a good point. Unless maybe because here's the thing too.
Oh gosh.
long-
Read the red flags. Read the Yelp reviews.
Exactly.
Okay, now go ahead, Alicia.
You can't
Unless
read
what?
the Yelp reviews if he ain't got no
There's
friends.
no reviews.
Friends.
He ain't never
There's
had
no
That's a
Yelp
red flag in
reviews.
itself.
Here's the thing, though.
That's a red flag.
You know what it says? You can be the first to review this. That's what it says.
Yes.
And
You
he's
can
gonna
be
Be
the
the
first to
first
review.
to review.
After 30 years.
he's gonna have issues. He potentially may have issues. I'm not gonna say you with you having friends, and he wants you to be the center of his whole life. Like, and you should never be like you should all have. I mean, you guys spend your time, but you also have relationships outside of each other. And
Yeah,
if he
you
has
need
none,
him to have an outlet, like to be able to go
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Talk
Right.
to somebody
Or-
except you.
Go somewhere.
Shoot.
Okay,
Unless
Alicia,
he's just new
what
to
are you
town. He
thinking?
just moved there, maybe.
Oh my
But-
God.
You
What
know,
about
you
his
can talk
friends
to
from
people
out
on
of
the
town?
phone.
from his old friends from out of town. I'm not talking
Alicia,
like they have to live
Alicia,
in the
do you
same
have
state.
friends?
Barely. I don't know. I thought you guys were in, but I don't see it.
But you got somebody to talk to every week.
Right?
Basically. Oh Lord,
Okay,
damn,
what I was gonna
Marnita.
say was, what about how when people change throughout the years as they grow older?
Well,
Some
that's
people
everybody.
stay stuck into. Well, some people supposed to, but some people stay stuck in an immature certain type of mindset to where
Oh,
you
okay.
no longer gel well with them anymore. For like, let's say you used to drink and party all the time. Now you no longer drink and party anymore. So why would I keep
I'm
Friends
sorry,
for
you guys have
season.
one. You can't. You're telling me
But
you
you
don't have
ain't got
one
that
friend
one.
that's lasted the lifetime.
Alicia,
We
you
used
need to have some long-term relationships.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Well, I guess I need
Even
some
if
help
y'all
then,
don't
because
talk
I
all
don't know
the
what you
time.
define as long term. Is it 3+ years? Is 3 years count at
No.
least?
A
No, Marilyn
friend.
just-
If Marilyn is on a date with you, you should tell her about a friend, somebody that likes you.
And you
But
don't
yes,
have to
I mean,
talk to like my
Who's
friends
your
for a long
emergency
time.
contact?
Yeah, I don't talk to them all the time, but like I don't. I
Yeah.
have friends that I don't talk to like on a regular basis, but we are still friends. Like
Friends.
I don't have to
That's what
call
I'm
my
saying.
friend.
You
from
just
high
pick up
school
where
every
you
week.
left off.
I have a
But she is my
girlfriend who I've
friend.
known since I was 18. I talk to her maybe every 3 to 6 months, but I know
Oh.
if I picked up the phone and called her now, I need you, she would be
Mhm.
here. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying you have to have talk to them all the time, but who is somebody if you need to have a conversation, you're going through
Mhm.
something, who has some history, knows about, knows things.
Mhm.
I mean, there's one person that knows everything
Knows
about
where the
your life.
bodies are buried.
Yes.
Yes. Helped you bury some of those bodies?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Aside from that, though, I do feel you need that outlet. You need that
Right, you
social
definitely need an
outlet to
outlet
go
of
out
friends,
and
for
be a
sure.
dude. Go out and be a girl with the girls. Like you
Yes.
can't get
Mhm.
everything from your partner.
Yes,
No,
I agree with
But
that.
exactly.
but that's like to me the main thing is you need that outlet because it can't
Your
in my
opinion.
opinion, I don't think it's realistic that it's just you and your mate 24/7,
I agree.
You need that extra, you know what
Because
I'm
you're
saying?
not gonna have all the same interests. You're gonna get
Interest.
on each other's nerves.
Right.
You're gonna yada yada yada. It's just got to be something. And then if he doesn't have, okay, say he has outgrown all his friends. Say he is the evolved one. What is he doing to
Build more.
make other
Mm.
relationships?
Okay.
Mhm.
Is he joining a book club? Is he joining is he going down to the basketball court and like picking up a game or something, having some kind of outlet, which I mean, I know it's harder to do as adults, but you know, it's just you don't want him attached to you being like, oh, you're my whole world. You're
Mm.
it. Because
Right. That's true.
you're
You become too possessive. That's
y'all
a good
can't
point.
be it for each other.
You know, for me, it was like, you know, changing the subject. For me, it was music. It's music. Like, I usually like to know what type of music do you listen to,
Mhm.
because I dislike people who just, oh, I just like rap.
Oh.
There's other stuff, and I feel like if a person can be exposed and enjoy different genres of music, I think to me it speaks volumes in terms of, you know, your appreciation of different things, different cultures, and you know, things outside the norm.
That
That's a
makes
good one.
sense.
That's a
It
good
Baba,
one.
you would hate me if I had to answer that question as a potential, not that, because I'd be like, I'm not really a big music person. I mean, it's there as background noise.
Oh.
And see, me, I
Mm.
think music is a big piece of my life in
Right.
general. So
I
to
mean,
me,
I
I
listen
always
to
like
it,
to.
but yeah, but I did have somebody who was into music, and I was like, it's background noise. I go to concerts, but I'd rather listen to a book.
Right, but
I
you
mean, that
have that one thing or that thing that you're like, I would hope that my mate,
Right.
Exactly.
that kind of
Yeah.
says, okay, pushes me a little bit
Mhm.
closer
Yeah,
towards
like you
this
probably
person.
want someone who travels, Mary.
Right,
oh
exactly.
hell
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
But if they
I
don't,
would
they got to be okay with me traveling without them.
Mhm.
I went out
That's where
on
their
a
friends come in.
I went
Right.
out and
I got those friends.
it was like almost like I would say, I don't know if it was like a deciding thing, and music came on and songs were going on, and I was kind of like humming to myself, you know, saying the words, like mumbling to myself. And then he was just like, it was a group, and then he started like going back and forth with me. And then there was another girl, and we were like, and she's just like, and me and him looked at each other. We was just like going back and forth between all the words and the lyrics or whatever the case may have. He was like, and like different genres, different, you know, time eras, and you know, so it was cool.
Nice. All right, you guys. I hope you guys can take our advice and hope it will help you all.
Can we
If
give
you have any
advice?
questions, let us know. What'd you say?
I
I
don't
said,
think
can
we
we
gave
give advice?
advice.
Yes,
We
gotta
did
have
in our
friends.
opinions.
What is it? The song, gotta have friends.
Okay.
Right. That's
How many
advice,
of us
Marnita.
have
Come on
them?
now.
Okay.
Friends. Ones that
Marnita
can
is a perfect
depend on.
segue because as we were, she's kind of like I said, she's the pro show
Oh,
of the
there's
group,
more?
Yeah, we have another topic.
I thought this one was just
Yo,
very lengthy.
y'all-
All right.